Hey, namaste everyone. Very warm welcome to Satsang today. Sadhguru Shri Mudi Ji ki Jai. So this is chapter 12, Abiding in the Self. Janaka is speaking now. Becoming first intolerant of action, then of excessive speech, then of thought itself, I come to be here. So remember now that it is Janaka. After hearing Ashtavakra again, now Janaka is speaking and it's truly become a dialogue between two sages, or the communion of one. Becoming first intolerant of action, then of excessive speech, then of thought itself. I come to be here. What does this mean? Intolerant of action does not mean that we are averse to some action or to some inaction. It only means that I stop considering myself to be the actor, the doer. It is a big fallacy. Just because these sensations are so intimate, it can seem like I am the speaker of these words, but I'm not. I see them arising. Just like this. And you must contemplate like this with your own movements, that seem like your own movements. You see that everything is just moving. This world is running effortlessly, and this world includes this body also. Often we've asked, are you being, existing with some effort or effortlessly? So your existence is effortless. In fact, if you applied all effort right now in this moment to not be, you couldn't. It is unstoppable, your existence, till it decides that it is done with this realm of experiencing and goes back to sleep. And existence does not need that existence on the basis of which all existence is experienced. All of this is experienced. The intricacy of the body and the intricacies of the rest of the world rely on your existence to exist. Because this is the one and only universal existence. It is not just a nice thing to say that God is everywhere. It is as much or more of a fact than any other fact that you can state. What is this God? What is the undeniable truth of this existence? It's your own existence, I am. And this I is not personal. It's not Ramya, it's not Ananta. It just is consciousness itself. So, once this existence is here, what happens? I am comes, and usually with I am comes all of this play, all of this play of movement. You see? It's moving, including this body. It's part of the same appearance. You see? But also as part of the movement is a trickster, is a tricky part. which is not not that we have to have an aversion to our mind, but to realize that it is not speaking the truth about me. It is telling me that I am a limited entity. It's telling me that I am something contained in this body, or I am the owner of this body. Just that, not the owner of the rest of the universe, but just the owner of this body. Then this duality of me and another can start. If you woke up from sleep and you never had this sense that there is any separation, all of this is one appearance. Then how would you live? The same way as we are living now, because that is also just a movement of consciousness. But what is it that we are recognizing about ourselves? When we inquire, as Bhagavan implored us, who am I? Are we finding a limited person sitting there? I ask sometimes, who is in your heart altar? Who is in your inner citadel? Do you find one tiny person sitting there? Do this, do that, go here. This is what the mind will like to convey, isn't it? The mind will say, I want this, you should have this. It's conveying the voice of a limited entity that we cannot find. See? It's like a lawyer who shows up in court, but we ask who's the client, and it says, that's none of your business. It has to raise an objection to what is. For everything, objection, objection, objection. Even in its so-called acceptance, it is an objection. I accept you, I forgive you. There's so much separation in that. You see that this lawyer is there, but we are looking for the client. Does this lawyer have a real client? This voice is representing somebody, but is that somebody real? And this is the point where the lawyer starts jumping, saying, no, we can't go there. That is too difficult. It is too abstract. I'm not interested in that. I'm a person of the world. This is the lawyer's voice. So then what is the trick? What is the tip? We ask, as Bhagavan said, who is witness of even these thoughts? What witnesses even these thoughts? Ashtavakra's number one pointing has been this. You are the witness of all phenomena. Is that itself phenomenal? Are you a phenomenal entity? Now, are you going to go to the lawyer for the answer? What is it going to tell you? That you are this measly client who is fighting for his or her own rights. What is it? This ego is just a bundle of self-righteousness in some ways, isn't it? This need to be right. And that is the biggest resistance in satsang also. Isn't it? That there must be some value to some concept that I hold. Something at least must be right in what I have believed about myself. What if all of it was rubbish? Every belief that you had about yourself. Would you suffer if you did not believe anything about yourself? Would anyone come and push your button? How would it be? Would this play of attack and defense of righteousness, right and wrong, would this play out? Grievances, guilt and pride, attachment. So when Guruji says, meet me naked, Make me empty. It is not a phenomenal thing. Make me empty of all beliefs. Meet me with the innocence of a child. So, intolerant of glasses, not just for show. Becoming first intolerant of action, then of excessive speech. So, this we looked at, isn't it? The body is moving on its own, and all of us must experiment with this. The claimant who claims that it knows how to move the body, I am moving my hand, is claiming that. The voice of this lawyer itself, but it doesn't know how to move the hand. And say, look, I'm doing it. Look, I'm doing it. How? Just like that is an appearance. I'm doing it. I'm moving my hand. The movement of the hand is an appearance. See, both are movements in your own being, in your own existence. A lawyer will come and say, see now, if you fall for this stuff, you will become the most irresponsible. You will stop taking care of your children. Okay? The children will go hungry and unbathed for weeks. It has never happened. This is just the same voice of the lawyer, which is saying that you exist as an individual entity apart from the rest of this world. And even if God is moving the rest of the world, is making these planets go around, all these trillions of worlds, all of the multiple realms, all of these beautiful, intricate forces at move here, which are moving here, all of that God is doing. But your life, your bills, all of that must be up to you. And we say, who is this I who must take care of it? No, that is not important. The mind will say that is not important. It is you. What you want to know? It's you. Shouldn't that be the basis of everything, actually? If you want to get somewhere, if you want to do something, if you want to get something, mustn't you first know who you are? So that has become just an assumption. I know who I am. So that's why we come to this funny situation, the play of consciousness itself, where we are constantly in denial of what we truly are, which is so apparent actually if you look for one instant. And we are constantly in service to that one which we cannot find. This is the mystery of this play. This is Maya. This is the illusion. How could it be that God Himself, herself, is posing as this limited entity who is doing only this? What is moving from this body, I am doing only that. That means it must be limited. Some measly character sitting inside this body, the owner of this body, remote controlling it. You are not that measly. Why? Because I have seen that about myself. There is no difference between you and I. So these words are not borrowed words. They're not something which I'm counting on the sages to say that yes, they must have been right, so let's all presume together. I'm speaking from my experience, which actually is your own experience. It is, it is humorous at some level that I ever considered myself to be, or I still sometimes consider myself to be, just a limited entity. This is your truth. because I have seen our oneness. So this, like my master says, you are not. That which you consider yourself to be is not the thinker of your thoughts, nor the doer of your actions. The limited perception we have about ourselves does not know how to do this. I said, the mind doesn't know how to move a finger. It can claim that it does, but it really doesn't. Not one neuron it knows how to fire. It doesn't know anything. It is mostly, just like as Maharaj said, mostly a post facto voice. Something what has to happen happens, and this voice comes and says, "Very good, you did this. It's very good. See, we decided to do this. Very good." Or say, "No, no, no. You shouldn't have done that." If we ask one of the two questions, but who are you who is saying this to me? Or who is it that you are speaking to? Either of these questions is enough. But mostly, we just go about in this blurry zone where I presume the mind is my voice, and who is it talking to? It's talking to me. With no investigation about if it is truly my voice, then what it is saying I must already know. Why I need a voice to talk to myself? See, why we need a voice to talk to yourself? So these little bit of investigation if we can do, we can check with the mind. So who is it that you're representing here? What does it say? Mostly it runs out of moves very fast. If you ask this voice in our heads, who are you representing? You, me. Who you? Who me? What happens if you ask that? Is it that difficult? So much resistance. Once in a retreat in Thiru, uh, these words came up. It was close to lunchtime. So these words came up saying, if there was a speaker in this room, like a speaker, like a device, a speaker, where it just gave instructions. Yes, you are hungry now. Go and eat. Now this is what I want for lunch. Is it? Now you look at the speaker and say, who's speaking? And suppose this one said, I'm Rajan. And this is what I don't know why the name Rajan came, and any Rajans in Sangha, it is not personal. So the answer came, I am Rajan, and this is what I want. Now, this voice has always been there, like a speaker here. It's not actually here, it feels like that. It's just saying, yes, even now it's saying, yes, I'm understanding this. I'm not getting what he's saying. What does he mean? Is it like that? The constant commentary, this inner narrative belongs to who? Now, if it happened in this realm, like this, where somebody came and said, this is what I want you to do. You say, but who are you to give me orders? And it says, it's you. What? Why we don't question the mind like that? Mind says, this is what you want next. If you get this, then you will be happy. How do you know this? And also, not just that, the last 2000 times that you've said this to me, it has not worked. It's not like there is no track record. It also has a track record of hundreds of things it told you that if you only got this, you will be forever happy. Has it worked? So Like this snake oil salesman who's selling us this story, and yet we keep buying. Why? Because it's just habit, and it's some sort of a hope that so far it's led me down the garden path, but ultimately it will lead me to heaven or something. So far it's sold me tickets to a merry-go-round, promising that it's a road trip to heaven, but it's only been a merry-go-round. But because I've bought so many times, then ultimately one day I will get it. It's like how people get addicted to buying lottery tickets. Have you seen? They keep buying, and over the year they spend thousands of whatever currency they're using. And they say, because now I've invested so much, my odds are better next time. No, they are not. The mathematical odds remain exactly the same. But this is worse because the lottery ticket that is being sold by the mind, the prize you already have. Whatever it is promising to get to you is your eternal nature already. What a play, no? What a joke almost. Like the story of the one who's sitting on the box and there's treasure inside the box and he's begging for food. Someone comes down, go and open that box. Oh no, what is the point? I know I've had it forever. It's useless. So the invitation to ask, it can feel like self-inquiry is very tough. It's very abstract. But actually, we're only asking what's in the box. We're looking outside for all of these things, but what is inside? What is inside? What is it that you are? Before you can tell me what you want, can you introduce yourself with integrity? Who is it that you are? So one thing is clear that you are not the, or that which you consider yourself to be the limited entity is not the doer. Therefore, both action and speech are gone. Then, of thought itself, I come to be here. So, what have we looked at? Action, movement like this, and movement of speech, then movement, which seems to be this inner movement of thought. None of these belong to me. This is what Janaka is saying. I am not the thinker of my thoughts, nor the doer of my actions, as Guruji said. Then I came to be here. Neither sounds nor other sense perceptions attract my attention. Even the self is unperceived. The mind is free, undistracted, one-pointed, and here I am. Neither sounds nor sense perceptions attract my attention. Now, we have to look at this closely again because, again, potential for confusion. Everything is there. So, what have we looked at? We've seen that the Mahamantra of the ego or the mind is what? With this, we have to answer. Seriously? What's in it for me? So constantly, when we are perceiving objects in this phenomenal world, the mind is constantly asking, what's in it for me? What is the value that something that I perceive brings to me? So this what's in it for me is the Mahamantra of the ego. What is the what is this what are the side mantras along with this? It's not just what's in it for me, but it's also me first. And preferably me alone. Also in the Sangha you'll see that not a general statement, but many times the mind plays in this way, saying, It's fine if I don't get it. As long as nobody else is getting it either. It's very irritating if I'm not getting it and others seem to be just so simply. It's very, very irritating for the mind because it wants to be first. It wants to be alone if possible. So, according to the mind, what's happening in satsang is I will get enlightenment. Now, I will get enlightenment is why I'm here. What's in it for me? And I want to get it first. I want to win this race. You see this everywhere. In queues, in traffic. How this one cut me? How could they? You see? I was in the queue for. It's very bothersome. I'm not saying break queue traffic and you can be Advaita about loading the planes in airports saying, no, but we are one. Actually, it happened with me many years ago. I was in, I don't remember which one, either Dubai or Abu Dhabi airport. And there was a fellow countryman there. And we're all standing in line and he decides that he's going to go first. And so I told him, so what's happening? Isn't there a queue? He told me in Hindi ki, जाना तो सबको एक ही plane में है, which is everyone eventually has to board the same plane. So how does it make a difference? So that was his version of an Advaita of oneness. We all one. I remember that because it was so funny. What? Huh? No. Yeah. Yeah. Business class guy. But she wore a sari. Just in sari. People told her to go father. So the world is built on these kind of principles where what's in it for me, what is the value, everything, even the mind, even this play of separation, of delusion, is a play of consciousness. Then we can say, so then why satsang? If the consciousness itself is doing the play of delusion, then why satsang? Because consciousness is doing this also. It is coming to the end of the movie, supposedly. Supposedly to the end of the movie, also with this play of coming to satsang and coming to the joy of self-discovery step by step. Because again, like in the movies, most of us, we don't like abrupt endings. Suppose that you had struggled with this person, with this egoic identity for millions of lifetimes, and suddenly a sage comes and says, "You are not that, you are the self." Then finished, movie end. Long, 4-hour movie. Christopher Nolan or something made this 4-hour movie where the struggle, person. What should I do? Where should I go? How can I get it? All of that. Then you meet someone and say, "You're not this anyway. You are the non-phenomenal, untouched, unlabelable self." End of movie. Okay. Because you want to, the consciousness wants to extract the juice also from this play of finding it, play of the oscillation between consciousness and ego. Sometimes, why do I still get stuck with my ego? You see? Like that, and then going back and saying, satsang, it's all fine. And going back, stuck, I'm stuck again. See? So even this play of oscillation is a play of consciousness itself. Because that's what makes this Leela fun for it. So neither sound nor sense perceptions attract my attention. Okay, we were talking about this. So now once belief in this idea starts to get dropped, what's in it for me? Whatever is is fine. It just not even fine. It just is. There is openness. There is acceptance of what is. This whole grasping, trying to own something or trying to be in aversion to something, drops away. Then what do you find? If you don't have that kind of personal tension, you don't have go into meetings saying, okay, what is it? What is it? You tell me. Tell me. It's what is? It's fine. This is what it means here. Otherwise, it can sound like my attention will just drop away. This is very, very, very troublesome concept. Don't pick it up. My attention will drop away from the rest of the world, and my attention will only be on the self. Firstly, there is no attention on the self. It is the dropping away of this play of attention. It's like the baby coming back to sleep. So attention just come back home in the resting position. Is this attention is designed for phenomena. Phenomenal content is brought back to us when attention goes. Yes. 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 Like in deep sleep state, could we say that there is attention on the self? It's just empty of all phenomena. And yet we know that there is nothing. We, not mentally, awareness is aware of itself and nothing else, not even its phenomenal creation. There is no dynamic aspect. So when I am, you also find that there is a tool called attention. Now, for a long time we've contemplated what comes first, and then we realize that actually both are prior to time. So that contemplation of what comes first is irrelevant in some way. It's beautiful, just so that you can come to this conclusion that time is also subject to attention. Yes.
The attention's there and can move anything.
Yes.
I'm just trying to see that when you say the attention is not.
When attention is divested from phenomena, you see, then these subtle things, very beautiful. So attention is divested from phenomena. And what is the recognition? It's the self. It doesn't need attention. It's like the substratum itself. So many times we might say this like conversationally, bring your attention to the self. But actually it just means let it just go to sleep.
There's no attention.
Unless the recognition is of something phenomenal, there is no attention. See the idea?
I don't know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Like, I see that there is the self doesn't need attention.
Awareness does not need attention to know awareness. Knowingness does not need attention to know itself.
So in the waking state, there could be a state where the attention is not possible. Can the attention just drop back into its source in the waking
Yes,
state?
that's what we're doing. In some way.
But I still like if it just drops back into the self, but phenomenon is still seen, but it can be seen only with attention.
Yes, yes, yes. So in that moment of recognition, this is what is happening. That when I ask you, are you aware now? Or it's not in time really, so it doesn't feel like for some time it went away, but notice that it was not a play of attention. And yet, it is that just for an instant, something looked within. See what happened? That looked within is the divesting of attention from external objects. See? But looked within stops at, it's like being is using attention to be with itself in some way. And yet when it peeps into its own source, it is not a play of attention. See? All of this, if the words are confusing, just forget about them and stay with your insight. Stay with it. All this will reveal itself. You'll see that So exactly what I was going to say is that don't have this idea that now that I've discovered myself, there will be no attention to anything phenomenal. Because attention will still go.
Yeah,
That's
I
what
think
you're.
that is not quite like, of course, the attention modes and everything is same, but that's like something just like I was like, can there be a state? But like, it's still not like super clear inside. Like the attention just falls back in the waking state. Like I see that in deep sleep there is no attention. It's just self. Like when it does arise in the waking state, then in the waking state when it falls back, you know,
Very
you
good.
about
Yeah,
that
so it's
part.
very good. So,
I'm not sure if it ever has fallen back in the waking state. Like I'm not sure about that. Like, but I still know myself always.
so are you aware now? Did you use attention to make that discovery? And yet there was a recognition of this source in some way.
The
Because it's not,
recognition is always there. In that sense, like
well, for awareness is always aware of itself. And
yes.
yet consciousness plays as if it is an object and then plays with the recognition of this, what its own source is, what it itself is made up of.
So the recognition is for presence, not
Okay.
source of that.
No. So with that you come and see that this knowingness is just present. No matter in fact where attention is, yet there's a recognition that consciousness makes of its own source, which is untouched by this attention, and yet this inward sort of movement happens, which is the divesting of attention from this outside world. But the point I was making was maybe the opposite of that, which is that sometimes we expect that once I discover myself, then this world it'll just be awareness aware of awareness and consciousness resting in its own source and not finding any phenomenal objects. If that was what consciousness wanted or awareness wanted, then the waking state would not come. The point of the waking state is only that we get a taste of this phenomenal self, the dynamic aspect of ourselves. When it is done with this play, it will stop.
And then also the attention need an effort.
Attention can seem like it is effortful, yes.
So then there is absolutely no effort invested in yourself. That's what I'm...
Even in the play of effort, okay, now, for consciousness to come to the recognition of what it is actually effortless. Now, attention is a limited aspect. It's a very, very pure uh, play, part of the play, and yet, unlike awareness, it seems to be limited. See, what is the difference between awareness and attention? It's a beautiful contemplation. So, if there are 10 of you asking the question at the same time, I don't have the attention to process all of that. So, attention can only be limited. See, but awareness is not. Awareness is just is, irrespective of how much objective noise is there. See, it is untouched. So attention is like that. So it can feel like it is effort to direct or keep my attention on a particular thing. See? Therefore, most of Indian spirituality is to try and control our attention away from the objects of the mind, which is the thoughts, into either a mantra or to the breath or to the nervous system or whatever, nadis. It is all about trying to control our attention. Now, here it is different. Because here we say, let your attention go wherever it wants. Don't believe what your mind is saying about what it is bringing to you. So, if attention is bringing this body, then don't believe the mind when it says, this is you. If attention is bringing other objects, don't believe the judgment of the mind about it. Then what happens is that attention doesn't seem to be working in sync with the Mahamantra, which is what's in it for me. So it seems like when consciousness is associated as a objective entity, then it can feel like it uses attention only for selfish needs. So attention goes on that. Then what happens is when we drop away this idea, what's in for me, see, it stops getting belief. Then you find that attention naturally is allowed to flow. Also. And you find that mostly it is with the content of the present moment. Unlike earlier, where it was so dispersed between the mind and the content of the phenomenal world. That's why the sages will say it is like the world became brighter. It is not like the world became brighter. It is that the attention stopped being so dispersed. See, right now, if you look at me and you try to focus on one imaginary tree, see, one of the images will get blurry. Either the tree will become clearer and clearer and the outside image will get blurry, or the outside image is very clear but the tree is blurry. So it shows that attention is limited. So because the attention is not so much concerned with this the movement of the mind, what it is saying now, then it can seem like the sage, the world is a lot more vibrant. And they seem to have a lot more time. They seem to not be rushed. Because the mind is not constantly. Why does this happen? As belief in the mind is dropped away, then you'll find that attention also doesn't find the content of the mind so magnetic. As you're not buying the story from the mind, then you find that attention also is more relaxed away from it. Otherwise, most of the world seems to be caught up in this dispersed state of attention between the phenomenal world and the part of phenomena which is the mind. So, neither sound nor other sense perception attack my
Father,
attention. Hmm?
namaste.
Okay, just trying to see where you are.
Father, I'm for quite some time stuck at this point
Yes.
because there is a video from Rupert Spira who says when you check whether you are aware, and the mind goes to the self and then comes back to say, yes, I am aware. And secondly, in my own experience, uh, when you say that who is aware of awareness, then the mind doesn't find anything. It goes into a kind of a abyss, whatever the pronunciation is. It doesn't find anything. So it is a kind of a like losing my own body consciousness. So when I close my eyes and I reach who is aware of awareness, then it becomes a kind of a samadhi actually.
Yes.
Then I lose my body consciousness. This is the experiential thing here.
Okay.
And
So,
when
so let's slow down. So two things. The first thing was you say that Rupert or another teacher was saying that when we ask, "Am I aware?" then the mind itself goes to. Well, I'll be a bit surprised because
That's not what he says. He says
because
that the attention turns around from outside and starts going inwards and it can't find anything. He says there's a pause. So look at
yes.
that pause between it's when it comes out and it comes in. And that gap is there.
So anyway, irrespective of that, what I want to say is that the mind is a sticky thing because it depends on the definition that you're using for the mind. So now, if the mind, in the simplest definition, is just a bundle of thoughts and similar energies, then actually it is not going and coming somewhere at all. The appearance of these thoughts or similar energies is there, then we say that is mind. When it is not there, then we say that is no mind. So there is no.
no, Father, for me, mind is like from Maharishi Ramana's point of view, the phantom thought. For me, mind is like the phantom thought. I always use the word mind like that.
Yes, very good. But what I'm saying is use the simplest definition that Bhagwan himself has said, that the mind is nothing but a bundle of thoughts. You see? Otherwise, what can happen is that in even Indian spirituality, There is the big mind, there is the small mind. What is the big mind? It is consciousness itself. You see? Then it gets very confusing, and even teachers earlier have used this terminology where it has become confusing about which mind are they referring to. You see? You stay with Guruji's terminology, which we all follow, which is that this mind is just a bundle of thoughts. So now what do you see? You see that there is no entity called the mind which goes inside, comes outside. It is just the appearance of this energy construct. Now, that which perceives this mind is consciousness. You see, now if you are referring to that as mind, if you're referring to this as many people do as the big mind or something like that, then you'll just end up confusing yourself, because the terminology that we use here in Satsang is very different from that.
Father, let us say it is the attention actually. Rather than I withdraw the word mind and substitute it with the attention.
Attention is much more different. It's like this colorless, shapeless force which seems to bring phenomenal objects to life. You can only say that something exists from your direct inside now if your attention is on it. You see? So it's very similar to awareness, where that it is beyond most quality. Only it has this quality of being limited, unlike awareness. You see? So attention turns inwards. This is what exactly I'm talking about. For a moment, actually outside of time, this attention is not focused on an outward object, and this seeming recognition of the source of your own existence is there. Then I find no dichotomy in what is being said. If you change the word mind to attention, then it's all clear. All the point of looking within to ask who is the witness, who witnesses that, is to turn this attention inwards till it comes to a point where there is no more attention there. There is only the self. So attention as a tool has been given to outward objects for a long time. Then in the meditation, the sadhana, the satsang, it is being turned inwards to the point where attention itself, there is no finding of this force called attention. So this brings a lot more clarity if you say attention instead of mind.
Father, when you say who is the I that exists, if I ask this question and close my eyes for the whole day, I can just sit like this without any answer coming up.
Very good. What is that? Is what, you know, how many people are dying to get experiences like that?
But Father, then you say that
we are trying to
this
do
is the
Sahaj Samadhi, all kinds of Samadhi. If my asking you one question, if my asking you one question brings you there, then what else you want?
Father, I don't want anything. I try to bring myself to the awareness, actually, which is not needed. I lose everything. I lose everything. I lose myself. But then I forcefully try to bring myself to the awareness of this, because I feel that is the target.
No. You see, now I ask you the question. Now you have to listen to the question like an innocent child, not with the presumption that you know what is the attempt of the question, not with the idea that I know what Father is expecting out of me when I ask this question. You see, be empty of all those presumptions, be empty of where the question is taking you, and be empty of all conclusions. You see, because what is happening is indescribable, cannot be expressed in words. Even the sages will not be able to tell you what happens when you come to the recognition of the self. Now, if you have a benchmark, or if you already come with the idea, you see, that this is what should happen, then you're actually trying to put a thread through the hole in the needle, but actually you're carrying a bag with that, which is the bag of presumptions and expectations of what should happen, which will not go through. You see? So throw that away. Don't know what should happen.
Yeah,
And don't
Father.
just,
Actually, I'm stuck in this for 1 year.
can you be
Actually,
stuck?
what is happening?
Okay, tell me.
Because,
If,
huh?
listen, if you have no idea about where you want to go, you see, in fact, you don't have to move an inch, then how will you be stuck? Only when you want to go somewhere and something seems to become an obstacle for you, can you be stuck. You're trying to make a discovery of awareness of
Father, where
awareness
I
or knowingness of knowingness or something like that.
no,
I'm not.
no, Father. I'm not interested. I'm not interested in making any discovery. I myself lose there. I'm not left there to make any discovery.
Then what is stuck? How can you be stuck?
I am not stuck there. I have absolutely no problem there. I myself lose myself. But when the teachings come, you are the sole witness. Where is the witness? There is no witness there. How can I say I'm the witness of all that is? That does not apply there. I myself
This,
lose myself.
okay, pause. Just pause. Pause for 1 second. Yeah, this is very, very tricky. And we've had the same discussion last time also. But for the last time, I will try and explain this to you. And after this, if the same question comes, then I will direct you to my original pointing to you, which I still feel is the most helpful. Just stay at my master's feet. Okay, but I will make one last. Listen, now listen, don't unmute. So you say that when I go there is nothing over there. I lose myself. There is no witness. See, now I trust you, so I know that you are not making up these words. So these words must be your direct insight that everything is gone. I lose myself. See? But even for this to be your direct insight, something must be aware of this, something must have witnessed this. Even to say, I saw that the witness was not there is a statement of your witnessing, you see. Slowly examine your own words. Where did you go?
Yes, Father, I understand. The thing is, then
What
which one
happened?
is higher? The one who knows that he went there and lost himself like a sleep and came back to say that I slept. Is that higher? My own awareness is that higher, or is that higher where I went and lost myself? This is the only confusion, nothing else.
Okay. So you say it is clear to you, no matter what the insight is, even if you say that I came to this place where there is no awareness, there is no witness at all, there must be a witnessing of that. There must be an awareness of that for you to report these words with such passion. Because it is not just some words that you're making up conceptually, you had the insight of that. You see? So now actually you will see that it is impossible to say that even awareness was not there. Because if you're saying it from your own insight, it means that what you are saying is, I am aware that even awareness goes away, which is a contradiction in terms. You see? So this awareness is unmistakable. Now you say, which is higher? Which is higher? We've said over and over that that which does not come and go, no matter what, is the highest. See? So that which does not come and go, irrespective of anything else, everything else might come and go. So reality, capital R, truth with a capital T, is that which does not come and go. See? Then, even yesterday, Ashtavakra said very clearly, existence, non-existence, change, all of this is also a coming and going for me. I am that which remains unchanged, untouched, no matter what else is coming and going. So the sages have provided all these clues very clearly for us. If it is coming and going, it is not the highest.
Yes, Father. I think now I feel very, very clear because Maharaj also says that samadhi happens, but I am not in the samadhi.
Yes.
I think it is very, very clear now. I think this doubt will not come again.
Right. No, I don't hear you now.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Effort is required. Did you read further? Effort is required to concentrate a distracted mind, superimposed with illusion. Knowing this, I remain here. So that's what we spoke about. No? Most spiritual practices are trying to get a control over attention, trying to not be let it be distracted by this mind. What is a distracted mind? Basically means attention getting mixed up with the content of the mind. It's a distracted mind. So if I try to forcefully keep my attention away, just be with the breath. Just be with the breath. Listen. But don't you have that email to send? Don't you have listen? And it's coming like that, but you're trying to no. Breath. Feel it like that. So it can feel like there's so much effort in that. Knowing this, I keep all of that aside and I remain here. It means I stay as the witness, untouched by any of this play, let everything come in. So stay as the witness means what? I'm not buying the pretense that I am something other than the self. I'm not buying the idea that I am something other than awareness. So because Janaka has discovered now, because he was a spiritual seeker, he did a lot of that effort and came to this, trying to move away from the mind, trying to keep it on other things. You see? And per se, there is nothing wrong with that. All of these practices also have been shared with beautiful intent. You see? But there comes a point where we outgrow those, we go beyond those. You see? And it feels like, okay, that was fine for that time, but now it's so much simpler to even leave my attention free, because to see that I am the self, I am not changing. Even if attention brings lots of objects, it doesn't really matter. You see? It doesn't really matter what objects are being brought, because I'm not believing myself to be contained in this objective world. I'm not buying the interpretation from the mind. So I don't need to run away from the mind also. Because many times it can seem like the effort is to run away from the mind. So push away the mind. The mind, it's like when it comes, the opportunities that you give it to come, then it will come like a big, big monster or something like that. Now I've got you. You see, you try to run. It's nothing. It's just a tiny voice. So when it's effortless, attention also, my recommendation always is just let it be free. Don't try to force it here or there. Just let it be free. You see? The inquiries which I'm giving you, the questions which I'm asking you, they will, consciousness knows how to treat those inquiries and where attention should go and what should happen. You don't have to force your attention in any way. Nothing to reject, nothing to accept, no joy, no sorrow. Lord God, I am here. Hmm? Then this whole play of oppositions and duality is dropped away. We discussed this earlier also. You see? That even in spirituality, we can take positions. Sometimes we were talking to Nada, I don't know whether she's here today, but she was sharing that when I heard in Satsang that I have to be open, then I decided that I'm going to be open. And I opened myself, and then I saw that something is happening in my life. a lot of strong events have started to come. And there is some trepidation or some fear about what is going to come. I'm paraphrasing, but this was the feeling of the question. Because even openness can be a position which is the opposite of closing. See, even our acceptance, that's what I was saying earlier, that you were saying, "Oh, I accept everything. See, I am forgiving the entire world. See, but what is the I in that? That is also this position of a limited entity, which might be feeling very glorious, but still it is a limitation. So openness means we are getting out of this play of duality and accepting it for what it is. And accepting that in this world, this yin and yang will constantly be, Shiva and Shakti will constantly be in motion. Don't play. Don't play as a participant in that way. See that you are beyond. Then whatever position this outward play is taking is fine. So we're not giving you new positions to take. We're not giving you new concepts to hold on to. If all that happens as a result of satsang is that you replace the concept, I am, put your name there, I am this person, and gets replaced with I am awareness. Just conceptually, then I failed at my job in the play, of course. So my job, if there is such a thing, is to point to you that you cannot apply a label to yourself. Empty of all positions, empty of all reference points, empty of any conclusion about yourself. Nothing to reject, nothing to accept, no joy, no sorrow. God, God, I am here. The four stages of life, life without stages, meditation, renunciation, objects of mind, nothing but distractions. I am forever here. It's not an attack. It can sound like an attack on the Vedantic way of life or meditation practices or something like that. That's why I'm saying that look at it more as an outgrowing. We are looking beyond. What is a good metaphor? It's like with my daughter. She does not enjoy math too much. So there was a point where used to tell her to do single digit addition. Do single digit addition. So after a point, she started doing single digit addition, and we were happy every time she would do it. Now she had outgrown that. Now they've moved to thousands and tens of thousands. But she was still doing single digit addition. So we were saying, no, no, leave that. So it had its purpose. It served its purpose. So for some of you, you are recognizing that something is going beyond that. You've outgrown these practices, you've outgrown this kind of methodology, this path. You've basically outgrown the idea that if I do something, I will get there. You've come into this seeing that you already are there. Might not be settled in, the oscillation might still be happening, but what is striking you as true in your heart is that what I've been looking for is what I have always been. You have never left the destination, as I like to say. Now, if this is ringing true for you, then automatically you will see that something is not so attracted now to that which you felt was so relevant earlier, so important earlier. So that is what is happening. So Janaka is not saying, well, it sounds like he's saying they're negative in some way, but basically he's saying, so seeing that I have now, what I am finding about myself now, for that all these four stages of life and all these practices and rituals and all the meditation, all of that is just something to do which claims that it will get me there, but I am already there. It is so clear to me. That is what he's trying to convey. Doing and not doing both arise from ignorance. I know this and I am here. Very, very important. Doing and not doing is two sides of the same coin. This is very important for everyone who is in modern day satsang to hear. So often we hear that you are not the doer. You must also hear it that often you are neither the not doer also. Neither doing nor non-doing apply to you. Because most often when it is heard, then we take the opposite position. Oh, I considered myself to be the doer. Now I'm seeing I'm not the doer. You see? And yet, in the I, they can hide this limited notion of ourself again. I, the body mind, I consider to be the doer. Now I'm discovering that I am the body mind, but this body mind is not the doer. See, this is also ignorance. The point is that you are not the body mind. So it is not just that the body mind is not the doer, it is more importantly that you are not the body mind. Because otherwise we're just changing like a switch, like a mode, like a belief about the body mind itself. But the consideration about what we are continues to be that limited entity. So that's why this verse is very important, where they say, doing and not doing both arise from ignorance. I know this. I am here. So even this position we cannot take. I am not doing anything. Neither the doer nor the non-doer you are. If the words are confusing, don't worry. Just keep them aside. Stay with your question, stay with your inquiry about who you are. Then they will, very soon they will start sounding like common sense. Thinking of the unthinkable one, and it's capital O. Thinking of the unthinkable one unavoidably conjures thought. Thinking of the unthinkable one unavoidably conjures thought. I choose no thought and remain here. So good, no? So beautiful. What is this saying? Don't become one of those ones who are parroting or mentally holding on to concepts of the one, of the concepts of the self. That kind of mental holding. Exactly what we were talking about earlier, where I said, if I leave you with just the concept I am awareness, just the thought you are awareness, then it is not the point of satsang. In our letting go of thoughts, in our simple openness, we come to the insight about this, the realization, the recognition, I am the self. It doesn't need the proclamation, I am the self, for the recognition. These are just pointers which are shared in satsang to point you in that direction. That's why more and more these days I've started pushing you, provoking you to share from your insight and not from your inference. Because many are inferring, you see, many are making conclusions based on what you heard about awareness. You must share. Integrity means to share from your insight and not from your inference. I know how these pair of threes always show up. Integrity is based on insight and not inference. So in. The integrity that Maharaj used to speak of was this. It was not like a worldly sort of honesty. He was speaking of that. What is it that you're truly finding if you keep all inferences aside, all judgments, concepts aside? What is it that you are? It's like another in we can add to that. It's like Guruji's invitation. You see, what does he say? Keep it aside. Past, future cannot help me here. If it is conceptual, cannot help me here. If you were to go beyond all of this, what is it that you are? Then you come to, as he says, come to this simple isness. Which is independent of any phenomena.
What is independent?
That which you find yourself to be. So if you also, it depends on your terminology. Do you consider being to be phenomenal? I like to call it the primal phenomena or the immaculate conception. Because everything else is a product of being. The being itself does not have a phenomenal parent. Everything else is because I exist. I cannot have an experience unless I exist. Not taste anything till I exist. But this being, does it have any phenomenal precedent? Does it come from a phenomenal source? Is it? So this is like the before the phenomenal play starts. I am is. So whether we call it the primal or the primordial, in India it is called the primordial vibration. Om, I am. It does not come from anything which can be described even as am or being. So when we leave all inferences aside, just am. And there is a knowingness of this. Awareness, aware of itself and its dynamic aspect, which is consciousness. And consciousness not associated with anything that it is calling me, anything phenomenal that it is relating to itself as. And the best news is that all of this is your natural state in this moment. Otherwise, it can sound like I have something to do to get here. You are that now, in this moment. Before you can pick up an idea about yourself, you are the self. Of course, even after you picked up an idea about yourself, you are the self. Only the self posing as if you are individual. Thinking of the unthinkable one unavoidably conjures thought. I choose no thought and remain here. Hmm? This is what we say. That's why for some of you, I try to get you away from this habit of thinking about it. Just use one or two key pointers that you hear in Satsang and apply them to your inside. See where they take you. That is enough. That which is a product of just thinking will always be smelly, you see. That which is a product of just thinking will always be smelly. That which is a product of your own recognition inside, that will have the fragrance of love, of peace, of joy. Simple example is that many of you have not seen the little library we have here. So now, if you keep getting clues about this, if I say it is to the right, and somebody says it's very beautiful, and somebody says there's a photo of Guruji there, then on one side they're all Advaita Vedanta books. You know, then somebody says, oh, the full Ramayana is there. All these clues you get. And then you're thinking about it and trying to conjure up the imagery of it, concepts of it, and you speak from there. No matter how good a job you've done, no matter how many clues you've got, it will not smell of the truth, you see, what you say about it. So the invitation is to step in. Once you walked in and once you've seen for yourselves, there's a different quality about it. So the self is not something that you have to think about and then come to a conclusion about. The self is your discovery now. This is what all the pointers in Satsang are for. This is what Ashtavakra is for. Okay, Tarun asked a question which I feel like we should look at today because it's important. He says, Father, can we say perception of objects can still be there without attention engaging with them? So this is looks at the point which Ashtavakra was making earlier, that attention does not go to objects. See? So what I'd say is that there can be perception of objects without interest in them. See? But there cannot be a perception of object without attention. So what Ashtavakra is talking about is the interest in the objects. What do I mean by interest? This, what's in it for me? What can I get out of it? So This phenomenal perception is a product of our attention. There is no perception independent of attention, even imagination or thought, anything, any phenomenal perception. Attention is the basis for that. These are very beautiful contemplations. In fact, that which does not have our attention, we cannot claim that they have any existence. It's only a presumption that they exist. That's why actually even science has been doing for hundreds of years these experiments. Like Schrodinger's cat.
Father, hello.
Yeah, I can hear you again.
Yeah, when Guruji does this exercise, right? Be empty of everything. So
Yes.
your eyes can be open or closed, or even there can be objects of thoughts, or even the phenomenal objects we see around. So at that time, my experience is there can be perception without interest, as you said, and at the same time, the experience of uh, being in a very attributeless place. The only attribute can be peace of that.
Yes. And this is exactly what I mean by openness or let your attention go completely free. Because if by attention you mean that it is being specifically diverted to something, you see? So what do I mean when I say just remain open? It's the same thing as Guruji saying be empty. Then objects can come, objects can go. And although attention is functioning, making perception happen, it is not seeming like a motivated, like a selfish attention, driven by consciousness in the way of interest, not driven to get something from me, not with an object or an outcome. So although it is continues to be the functioning of attention, it is not directed in a egoic way, directed in an associated way. It should mean interest. You see. That's why I said it is empty of interest. And yet you will find that even when you're empty, sometimes attention goes to the sound on the street, sometimes attention goes to the words that I'm speaking, sometimes attention goes to the memory of what happened when you were sitting in the meditation. You see? This is all movement of attention. And yet the interest in the outcome or what are you getting out of it is not there. Just play with this some more, contemplate with this some more. You'll see that very naturally attention can function. And you can still continue to remain empty. Empty of what? Empty of the egoic belief, empty of a concept about yourself. And as you're empty like this, then there is no interest in that way. No interest or disinterest, no desire or no aversion also. Just like right now, you could be empty of the concept and your attention could be on these words. But something might come either in your room or some sound might come on your computer and attention might go there. Attention can traverse, but you find yourself untouched by the movement of this attention because you're not buying yourself to be something which is interested in where attention is going or what it is bringing. Play with the concept that I'm offering to you, that attention is that tool which itself is quality less except the quality of limitedness, but it brings all phenomenal perception to life. Only that exists on which there is attention. in our direct experience. Yeah.
It's just like watching the attention, and that is movement, but I can't say like the attention move is just.
Exactly. So she's asking this very beautiful question that we contemplated together some weeks ago, where can we say that attention has the quality of movement? And this we looked at, where we said that we often say in satsang that attention moves to this, attention moves to that. But can we conclusively say that also? Is it that there is something which is moving, or is it just that the content is moving on the screen? So I don't find this to be a conclusive experience where I can say actually it is attention which is moving. I can only see that yes, what it brings, the content seems to differ in quality, and therefore the feeling of movement happens. Just like there are two trains in the train journey, when suddenly you feel that there's some movement, we cannot conclusively say whether it is our train that moved or the other train which moved. Just like that. So the feeling of movement is there, but it could just be the content on the screen which is changing, and it can feel like my attention went from this place to that place.
It can also be that actually the feeling of movement comes when your interest changes. So attention is always, in a way, unassociated. But
Yes, that is a larger topic which maybe we should look at tomorrow, which is perception itself creation? Is perception separate from creation? So when we say consciousness is creating this world or this universe, the perceiving of it is the creating of it. And Guruji says, you perceive what you conceive. And perception happens with attention. You say now again what you said first?
movement of
Yes.
attention, it's like you say the attention is moving here. But it's more like the objects that seem to have any sort of interest. That's where we feel the attention moves there. For
Yes,
instance,
exactly. This happens. So when that's exactly what I've been saying, that when consciousness is playing in that way that it's overridden by this idea of what's in it for me, overpowered seemingly by this meanness, then it seems like that interest drives attention in a particular way. When it is empty of that, still the functioning of attention continues, is it? And it can go on things, but there's not like this. See? So there's a quality of interest which is different. See? It's like consciousness wanting to perceive what it is conceiving. If that is what you mean by interest, then that continues. Otherwise, the waking state would not come at all. If that interest is what we were talking about earlier, which is that egoic interest.
it's not that. Like for instance, in this room, when I'm talking, this interaction is happening, the attention seemingly
Yes,
is
yes,
more here.
yes.
There is certain level of obviously interest here. But when this interaction stops, so attention is still with your work, it is still with the fact that you're sitting on the floor and several other things. So in a way, attention as such doesn't move. So it's more the focus, not even
The
interest.
focus is directed by interest. Is that what you're saying?
So if attention is with you in this interaction right now,
So now if I say, okay, bring your attention to Radha. It can go.
part of attention can be.
Yes.
So I won't say the whole attention in it. Because
Yes. And yet, if you look at Radha and suddenly she screams. And for that moment, the entirety of attention
yeah,
will
of
be.
course.
You see? So that movement is happening. Now what we were saying earlier is that whether it is attention which moves or just the content on the screen which moves, which is clear. No? So
And that point is what I wanted to
yes.
say, that for me it feels that screen moves or attention moves, here it feels almost like a for instance, when you're saying that if she screams, so that's the screen where something happens, and attention goes there. So was it an interest about?
That's what I'm saying, that you have to define interest as that egoic sense of interest, what's in it for me, and that which we say the consciousness wants to experience all of this as its own conception, it wants to perceive that. See, whether we call that interest or not. I'm saying that if you still call that interest, then that as consciousness, that interest continues. That's why attention continues to play in this. But this sort of oppressive interest of what am I getting in this? See? Like in a business meeting, when you will go and say, okay, we have half an hour. I have a colleague who's like that. We have like, if we go for a meeting with someone for 1 hour, he'll always evaluate at the end of the meeting. That was not worth 1 hour of my time. You know, what is it that we got from this? Like that.
So the point was, and clarity needed was about the movement.
Yes.
Because of everything that's there, obviously it's the consciousness which at that point comes to
Experience that.
Okay. It's not very invested, but the movement is probably because of that. Because otherwise, why is attention not on the sunlight outside?
Yes. Yes. That's what I'm saying, that explore whether we can conclusively say that there is sunlight outside unless there is some attention on it. So I don't want to force this insight on you, but the insight here is that only that which I perceive is, I can say, actually exists. And that, sorry, before you say, and that is from where Ashtavakra speaks when he says, I am the solitary witness of all there is. And this I know is a source of great confusion for everyone, because you feel like, I can't witness what is happening on the basement.
So it feels like attention and creation of phenomena is at the same time.
Yes.
I don't know if it's actually one, because it creates and it sees at the same time. So perceives at the same time.
So
it seems like it just one.
So conceiving, perceiving, and
Just conceiving and perceiving. Which
conceiving
is
and perceiving.
And you can't perceive without attention.
Yes, is the same.
It's the same. Yes.
That is why when somebody talks about predetermination, you see, I always look at that and say, what do you mean by predetermination? Because although everything is the will of consciousness, you see, consciousness does not have to operate in a robotic way and say that, oh, I have made a script for myself which is set in stone. Therefore, then consciousness itself is not free. You see that all time and space is functioning within consciousness. You see? Then the concept of predetermination also goes away. Predetermined means set within time as to how time will function. You see? Now we are saying that it itself is out of time, and I feel like completely free. Yeah, exactly. Subject to time. Exactly. Yes, and yet many times sages have used terms like predetermination just so that we give up this burden of doership and what's going to happen, this fear of what's coming.
What you said is true, that only when attention moves does it come into existence. It's true. But, so, whose movement is it?
Whose movement is it? It's consciousness. There's nobody else here. No, maybe say, did I misunderstand something?
Not unless. So I'm just trying to, like, in a slow mo, that where exactly does the movement begin?
So that is the contemplation, whether there is
Yeah. So
this quality called attention, which itself is qualityless, and the only conclusive thing we can say about it is that it seems to have a limitation, or is that just the content on the screen is changing, and we are labeling that as a movement of attention.
And we're labeling the change of content
As a movement of attention. It's a beautiful concept.
Yeah, because when you just stay listening, then the attention doesn't seem to move that much. I mean, when we talk about this oscillation, it's what is actually in comparison to that, the just this knowingness, then it looks like this seems to be moving. In comparison to just this non-moving knowingness, awareness, the attention seems to be the moving part of it. And then like this seems to be like some oscillation where you feel, where you still say, identify, and you say, oh, I went there, and then I came back, and now I lost it, and now I found it. That movement, like I remember Guruji saying it is, we're so identified with that attention, you call it I. You say that when your attention goes, that you have gone.
Yes.
Whereas actually you can see your attention moving if you want to,
Exactly.
but you haven't moved at all because you see the movement of this attention.
Yes.
And
That's exactly, so that's what we're exploring.
Yeah.
Whether we even see the movement of attention. You see? So it can feel
because
like
he wants us to stay
no,
as
that is clearly understood.
No, in the scene. Okay, now
that is clearly understood that the awareness remains unmoved, and it is a witness to even this feeling of movement of attention. You see? Now, what we are exploring is a subtlety within that, you see, which is that whether there is something called attention which is actually moving, or it is only the content which is changing in front of it, and it can seem like attention is moving. So play with this for some time, because I don't want to give all the answers, or at least I don't want to give all the insights which have occurred here. Not because, not that I want to hold on to some insights for myself, just because it will take away from your own discovery.
Don't tell us. Please don't.
For some it's fun, for some it's pure, I'm sure, pure boredom and torture is happening right now.
It's like a screen can't even be called like a 3D screen or anything like that, right? Not a screen, but the appearance. It's like I feel like what she said, like where it starts, where it begins, like somehow I relate to, but I can't put it in words. Like I don't know if I got it right, but like this, like even the screen is not. You can't define the screen.
Yes, of course.
And
There is no tangible screen.
Yeah.
It's just using Bhagwan metaphor of light and the screen of consciousness.
Yeah.
There is no, like, the screen is what? This realm of time and space itself.
No, but like I cannot be defined. Like I am cannot be defined.
Yes. It's not in that way.
Yeah, but it feels like on this I am is all of this projected, like all in a sense, like.
Yes, but not spatially like this space. See, it's not like the space of this space which contains this space. It is a space which is beyond these three-dimensional space, see, or four-dimensional space even. Where time and space are both included in that, and yet it cannot be defined in these four-dimensional terms. We can visualize it in four-dimensional terms, but we cannot really define I am in any dimensional terms.
No. Is it? And even like this, I don't know if you call
Yeah. No, we think our experience of it is that there's this direction, there's this direction, there's this direction. You see, these three axes, three-dimensional world, and there's a fourth dimension of time, in which all of these go like that. So that's why it's defined as a three-dimensional world. In from the how it is experienced perceptually, you cannot truly say anything about the reality of this, but how it is experienced perceptually. If I say go straight, it means know what go straight means, go left.
But in reality, it doesn't feel, I don't know, like, so it just feels, it's so like continuous, like there is no, yeah, I understand when you speak phenomenal, you have this, like it is 3D and there is time, but it's just like it's, there is no, you can't, yeah, you can't. Sorry, I do have
No, it's very good. It's very good because even science is coming to the same conclusion. I'll share about this. Let me look at verse 8 before we go, because Amaya said then we can make a full chapter highlight. Okay. And then we'll come back to that. Blessed is he who attains this by effort. Blessed is he who is such by nature. Very, very nice. Then it takes away all this hierarchy that ours is the best path, ours is the best path. So whichever way you come to this recognition, like Bhagwan said sometimes, if it feels like effort to inquire, to come to the truth of who you are, then make that effort. Come to this recognition. And other times he will say, why are you making effort? You already are that. Drop all effort. So different quality of pointings at different times for different temperaments. So, but whatever way we come, whether it was seeming effort or whether it was just naturally seen, this was it. And all these experiences we had in the Sangha. Some have come to this with very solid self-inquiry effort. They sat in sadhana and came to this discovery. And some very naturally just come to one or two satsangs. Effortless. Why is then that idea can come? Why is this one doing so much hard work when it's so natural? See? And the one who is putting all the effort is saying, that one is just fooling himself or herself. It cannot come like that. I have been trying for so long, it is not. So this verse, it takes away from this sort of benchmarking, checking, and making conclusions about which way is the best. By saying, blessed is he who attains this by effort, and blessed is he who is such by nature. It doesn't matter which seeming route is taken, because the discovery is that which is already here. So if it felt like for some they had to take 3 left turns and come to this point, walk straight, take a left, take a left, take a left, and come to the self. For some who just found that, I'm just here. It doesn't matter because the point is to see this, the truth about yourself. And she said something very nice, and I wanted to look at that for just a bit. She said, it doesn't feel like these 3 dimensions of time, 3 dimensions of space, and another dimension of time. She said, it just feels like continuous. And this is exactly what the space-time continuum is like. Even to physicists now, they've come to this conclusion that there is no difference between space and time. It's just one continuous sort of being, actually.
It's like
Continuous
those
existence.
words, which is words that I just read, like, I can't remember the sense of continuous light, and that just like, it's just like sinking in, like, it's not, there's no beginning, there's no end, there's no, I don't know, it's just continuous. It's so deep. But even continuous, not
Yes, not temporal terms. Yes.
Yes.
So happy. These words are music to my ears.
So beautiful. When those like words start to just like make sense in the heart. Like it's just
As far as this phenomenal play is concerned, it gives me great joy actually to see that there can be 17 of us online and 7, 8 of us sitting here. We're actually finding some joy in discovering these subtleties of this play. So, very beautiful to see that as we let go of this, what Ashtavakra calls the small-mindedness, and we start to look at even this phenomenal perception in all its true qualities, in its true wonder, in its true beauty. This is my Master's gift to me, to be surrounded by such beautiful beings. I truly want to say thank you to all of you. And thank you all so much for being in Satsang today. Sadhguru Shri Muji Ji ki Jai.
Sadhguru Ji Ananta Ji ki
Jai.